guys, don't forget to check out my Patreon where you can get me to request anything of your choice and get access to my infamous sexy workouts.
Won't see what might have been, what I felt, what I've known. Never shine doing what I've shown. Never free, never me. So I dug the unforgiven. Shine, doing what I've shown. Never be, never see. Won't see what might have been, what I felt, what I've known. Never shine, doing what I've shown. Never free, never me. So I dug the unforgiven. So I dubbed the unforgiven. Never free, never me. So I dubbed the unforgiven. You labeled me, I label you. So I dubbed the unforgiven. Never free, never me. So I dubbed the unforgiven. You labeled me, I label you. So I dubbed the unforgiven. Never free, never me. So I dubbed the unforgiven.
Okay, so that is definitely gonna compete for whether or not that's my favorite song by Metallica. Like, one is like up here, but this definitely is like, because first of all, by the way, before any of you guys comment, like, why are you looking down? Why were you on your phone? I was writing notes because I did not want to forget. My memory is not all that good sometimes. But before I get into the lyrics, and I'm actually going to look up the lyrics just to like reread everything and go through them with you guys, because I definitely need to see what the lyrics are about. But that intro, my goodness, that intro, it gave me like a similar feel of when I first heard One by Metallica, because my favorite thing about that song is just the chords are just so beautiful and melodic, and you know what I mean? And people might not think that you can get that in metal, can get something so beautiful. People like think that metal is always just like in your face and rough and aggressive, but Metallica does like a great job of just creating, like, they're so good at mimicking the feel and the message through the instruments, which is like amazing to me, and it's so beautiful, and it just captures you immediately. So I was already, that intro, I was already captured. And then of course the rest of the video. Another thing that I noticed that I thought was really clever and interesting about the video was it's called The Unforgiven, but I saw a lot of images of like nails in the hands and carrying something on your back. Like, it looked like the old man was carrying just like a bunch of some sort of wreath or these plants on his back. But it's funny because it's just like Jesus, if you believe, Jesus died on the cross for our forgiveness of sins. But this is called The Unforgiven. So that's really interesting, the way they showed that like crucifix imagery in there, kind of like an anti-crucifixion, I guess, when it comes to Jesus, like the opposite end of the spectrum being like the unforgiven and stuff. So that was really interesting. I just want to dive into these lyrics really quick because I know that they're gonna, I caught some of the lyrics, but I really want to dive in and just get a better understanding. So we have the first verse, which says, "New blood joins this earth, and quickly he's subdued. Through constant pain, disgrace, the young boy learns their values." Ooh. With time, the child draws in this whipping boy done wrong. Deprived of all his thoughts, a young man struggles on and on. He's known, a vow unto his own, that never from this day his will they'll take away. Yeah. So this first verse is just, honestly, it gives me chills, because really it's just talking about like a young boy learning the way of the world, but not through the way you're supposed to, but through pain and agony. Like, and I know a lot of you guys probably can relate to just, okay, I know a lot of you guys can relate to being young and unfortunately learning the hard way about how life is. And, you know, when you're a young child, I mean, ideally, you're not supposed to be exposed to all of that, you know, in your first few years of life. Like, but unfortunately, there's a lot of us who learned, you know, grew up really fast through pain and agony, and some of us abused and all that other stuff. And I like the part where it says, with time the child draws in this whipping boy done wrong. It's almost as if like society shapes this child into, you know, something that they want him to be, but through force and stuff. And a lot of, you know, there's some parents that do that to their children, or guardians of any sort, or even like systems can do that, whether it's the educational system. So it's almost as if with the next verse, it talks about a young man struggling on and on, deprived of all his thoughts. You know, that's probably society trying to control his thoughts, and, you know, just not allowing him to have his own thoughts. You know, and it's like he vows to this day that they'll never take away his will. You know, that's the last thing they'll be able to take. So it's almost as if the boy turns into a young man who he finally is like, no, I've had enough. I'm going to come into my own. Then we have the chorus that says, what I felt, what I've known, never shine through in what I've shown. Never be, never see. Won't see what might have been, what I felt, what I've known. Never shine through in what I've shown. Never free, never be. So I dub the unforgiven. So like the way that I interpret that is almost as like, it's like what I felt, what I've known, never shine through in what I've shown. And listen, being an introvert, being someone who, you know, has felt really apprehensive about being themselves in front of other people and fear of being judged, I can definitely relate to that. I know a lot of you guys can relate to that. And it's like the worst feeling in the world. It's like you have multiple versions of yourself. You have the version of yourself when you're alone, who is like your true self. And then you have the version of yourself that you show other people. And sometimes that's not the true you, because you just want to be liked. You want people to accept you and all that other stuff. So, yeah, this is like really, really deep stuff. And I want to get to the part where he mentions the old man. So the second verse says, they dedicate their lives to running all of his. He tries to please them all, this bitter man he is. So this is really just talking about people in society who have been suppressed, you know, whether you're outside or you're a freak or anything like that, like who you don't feel like society accepts you, and they try to like control who you are. Like this is really speaking to those people and what they have to go through. And sometimes when you feel that way, it turns into bitterness to the world and everything, because you're trying to please everyone and you're not being who you are. Like you just turn into someone bitter and angry because you're holding your true feelings inside. The most haunting part of this entire song is just talking about the old man, about how it's like he's an old man and he's prepared to die with regrets because he was never able to just show his true self. Oh my god, these are just such haunting lyrics, but they're so real. And that's what I love about Metallica, is like they don't just, you know, their lyrics aren't caricatures, you know. Like there's a lot of metal bands, which is nothing wrong with it, but a lot of, you know, there are some metal bands that are focused more on just like abstract concepts. But I love how Metallica has that part of them where they just, you know, make music and have lyrics that you can relate to. And to me, that's why they're one of the biggest metal bands in history, period, because of that reason, because people can really connect to them. So I love this, you guys. This is definitely, if not my new favorite Metallica song, definitely in my top 2. It's just really making me like almost like choke up and everything, because I can definitely relate. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media at Pink Metalhead on Instagram. You can email me pinkmetalhead2@gmail.com for anything. If you just want to talk, if you have any reactions, suggestions, and all that good stuff. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Feel free to follow me on my social media, including Instagram, where my handle is at Pink Metalhead. You can like my pictures, leave a comment, hit me up in the DMs, request songs, music. So yeah, follow me.